Hey there, YouTube. Good to see you. It's been a minute since I've done a Walking Thoughts, but I'm out here at lunchtime taking a walk before I head in to do an interview. And I want to address the question, and I have a list of questions that my YouTube members were kind enough to compile for me. And today's question I'm going to deal with is, why do we trust personal experiences over data? It's a good question. I'm just, again, this is something off the top of my head, so I haven't planned this out. But I'll say that I think that over our lifetime, we rarely question ourselves. We will see the world, we view the world, we take in experiences, and we take inputs through our various senses, not sensors. Well, I guess technically they're sensors. But we take in information, we process it, we build on it, we make decisions. And although we do occasionally doubt ourselves, or second guess ourselves, for the most part, we think we do a good job of navigating this world. And that we have a good idea of what we see, what we hear, and we become sure of ourselves. And that leads to a lot of these common sayings of, I know what I saw, I know what I heard, I know what I experienced. The reality of it is that we don't always do that. There's been numerous studies, and you're welcome to look them up. I'm not going to list them here because I just don't. I'm obviously out in the parking lot walking. But you can look this up. Memory is not great. We fill in the gaps a lot. We make up facts or details. Most of the time not deliberately, but we do so because we fill it in with our own biases, what we think actually happened. And the more we talk about what we think happened, that becomes part of the story, as in it really did happen, even though we have no idea if it did or didn't. So I think it comes down to the idea that we trust ourselves more than other people. And I mean, that's good and bad, to be honest. It's getting windy here. And what I mean by trusting ourselves better than other people, that we think we know better than everyone else. And personal experiences will have a deeper impact because it happened to us. And it's difficult to understand what other people are telling us, especially when they are unknown people. Like, we grow up, we get a lot of our information and our core beliefs mostly from our parents, and they are reinforced and or kind of carried on from siblings and friends and extended family, like grandparents, aunts and uncles and stuff like that, so that we develop this idea, like, these are authority figures to us. These are people that we trust, that tell us the truth. We've grown up with them. They would never lie to us. You know, these kind of sayings. Even though they don't, I mean, a family member might not intentionally lie to you, but they might give you false information because they don't understand what they're talking about. So I think over time we develop this idea that we know better. And it's funny, this actually goes in to a marathon of Pawn Stars that I've been watching on YouTube, because, you know, you watch one recommended video and then every time you sign in, it's like, that's what YouTube recommends. Like, so I've been watching video after video after video of Pawn Stars just because I like looking at the history of objects and knowing what people would be willing to pay, especially when they have the experts come in and give you some information. And there's been many videos that are based on the idea that the seller coming into the shop, who in most cases that I've watched so far have no idea what they have, or they were just told by a family member, this is a painting of a famous artist, or from a famous artist, or this was a statue that was done in 1700s or 1800s by a famous artist, something like that. And then it comes to the expert comes in and gives a good detailed analysis and says, no, it's a fake. To which the seller would immediately say, oh, I think I know better, or I think you're wrong. And the seller, again, who has no background in this, no expertise in this, no study, no degrees, no credentials, nothing but, for the most part, a family member told me so, is arguing with someone that is an expert, that has the background, that has the credentials to make these decisions. And I see that reflected in this question that we're looking at, personal experiences versus data. So when you have scientists working on a problem, and they publish a paper, and they publish all this data, and their methodology, the shortcomings, the protocols, and all this, most of the time people don't read scientific papers. I read them once in a while when it pertains to the work that I'm doing, and it's difficult. I get it. It's difficult. It's hard to understand, and there's a lot to read. But the data is there, and you see the work. They show their work. But to the general public, those academic papers that are published, if they even bother to seek them out and read them, they're by scientists that they don't know, that are saying something that usually goes against their own beliefs. So, when it comes to personal beliefs, if you think that you saw something, like saw a ghost, we're going to use a ghost as an example here. If you think that you saw a ghost at a building that you believe is haunted because your friends told you to, or told you that it is, that has a much more powerful impact on your belief system, your bias, how you're going to approach and interpret everything, than an unknown person that is just a name on the paper that put out a scientific paper based on experiments that has all the information possible that you could ask for, that proves something one way or the other, or demonstrates something one way or the other. Your personal experience is going to have more of an impact than that, for the most part. That's not everybody, but I think that's how we as humans act. That's how we behave. We're emotional. We we mistakenly put more weight on the word of family and friends rather than experts in various fields. It's just the way most people are. It's a shame. It really is a shame, because it ends up spreading misinformation, because when we do that, and it's not all the time, I want to make that clear. Sometimes family members or friends are the experts, so I want to make that disclaimer in there too. But if you disregard the scientific consensus that has mountains of evidence and data to support it, in lieu of, well, it happened to me, then science is not the problem. It's the person. I think that's the only conclusion that I can really come up with. Science, or the person, is the issue. Maybe something did happen to them. Maybe they did have an experience. But that's where the investigation part of our job comes in. Was there an experience the way the experiencer describes? Did they see a ghost? Maybe they saw an optical illusion. It's more plausible that, yeah, they were the subject of a optical illusion rather than a ghost, because we have evidence and data to support optical illusions. They do exist. We have various demonstrations of them that anyone can look up and go through. We have studies on how they fool the brain. We can go through it. We can demonstrate it ourselves. But on the other side, if it's claimed to be a ghost, there's really nothing in support of that except one person's perspective, one person's anecdote. Again, I'm not saying people are lying. It's just mistakes, misinterpretations are more common in hobbies like this than I don't know if there is a then. It's just, I think that's it. It's just a flat statement that mistakes and misinterpretations are common. That's it. It comes down to the idea that, again, I think that personal experience has such a strong impact. You know, especially if you're scared or you're frightened, or you go to a haunted location one weekend, and you see a shadow down the end of the hall, and you can't figure out what caused it. That's a heavy experience. Like, that's something that's kind of spooky, and when we don't have an answer to things, it frustrates us as humans. You know, we have this need. I mean, I think that's the basis of mythology, is that we needed explanations. Even if we didn't really know what was going on, we created gods and goddesses and magical rites or events to explain certain things. Thunder, lightning, stuff like that, because it wasn't understood. So even today, if we don't understand something, we try to, well, for some of us, we try to understand it, but for others, they try to force an explanation, and sometimes that forced explanation is based solely on personal belief. And then once you got that belief in place, then you deal with what's the anchor effect, where you're basing everything, you're anchored to that belief, and you compare every new experience or new explanation to that original belief, and it's very hard to give it up, because that's your anchor. You know, that's what you're anchored to. That's what you've accepted into your core belief system, and to give it up is a difficult and emotional experience in itself. So, all right, I'm gonna go in. I got an interview coming up, so I gotta go in because it's hot out and I'm starting to sweat. So I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation with myself, because you know, I like coming out into the parking lot and just talking to myself for a while. But yeah, feel free to put your comments down below in the comments, because you know, that's why it's called comments. And give me your thoughts, and I will try to go through them later on today and respond to some of them. And otherwise, this Friday night is another open mic night for a Skeptical Help Bar. Again, I'm working on a guest. I don't want to announce who it is, just in case, because they're probably not going to come on. But if they do, I want it to be more of a surprise, and it's just more of a conversation. It's not a particular topic, or there's a couple topics I want to discuss with this person, but I'm just not going to tell you who it is. And Donna should be back. She is taking care of some things, family things, so she should be back tomorrow late afternoon and be ready for the show. So I'll see you then. Have a good day, and never stop learning.